Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, March 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open for a small amount of time because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, EUDA. Again, EUDA. Very, very impressive movement today and a fantastic pattern. So when I draw this pattern out, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a great discovery or a special skill. In fact, the exact opposite. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same pattern and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So top part of this pattern that you got to think a lot of people are going to be watching is based on this line right there that has been drawn, the top part of that pattern, which puts the breakout area right up there around, let's just call it $3.20. And then the other part of the pattern here that, again, you got to think a lot of people have drawn is via that trend line right there. Let me change that to green to represent more so a bullish dynamic of the pattern. And then maybe to make it all easier to see, let's just keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosive move right there. And to make this a little bit more visual for you golfers, let's put a golf hole down here, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. Again, no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think, even if you want to call it that self-fulfilling prophecy, that if the price comes up to the top of the pattern and then breaks through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible thought process to have. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, MARA. Very, very impressive move today, as I'm sure you're well aware. Bitcoin and a lot of the cryptos made very staggering moves today, this one included. So certainly a lot of people watching this one moving forward, which puts a very interesting level right up here around this level at $6. And let's just make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. Yeah, actually, let me move that line up just a tad to these levels right here. It's about 705, and this is coming from the fact that this was a former area of support, then turned into resistance, and now the prices that it's gotten up through that pink line there, the 200 period moving average, definitely a good step in the right direction, a very good sign of power as far as technical analysis is concerned. So next key level now going to be right up there, again, based off of these couple levels back here in the chart's history. So moving forward, key breakout level now going to be right up there at 705. In terms of levels of support, I'll zoom in here a little bit. Key level, already talked about it, is now ideally you want to see the price stay above that 200 period moving average based on just a very basic principle. When levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So $6.58 now going to be an important area of support. But from more so a big picture point of view, as long as the price stays above that purple line, then overall the chart is trending upwards. I get it, that purple line is way down below where the price currently is at. But that's kind of the catch-22 when you have huge movements. It does tend to create spaces between areas of support. But like I said, if the price can indeed stay above that pink line there, that would be best case scenario. But if the momentum does continue on up, then keep an eye on 705. Next one, FRC, been in the news, been getting absolutely destroyed. I mean, you're well aware of all this bank drama. But now we have some interesting dynamics here because at least this thing has started to bounce upwards. And given the rate and the magnitude of which it's been beaten down, sure, that doesn't guarantee anything, but could a bigger, bounce back upwards come about? Yeah, absolutely, which is kind of crazy to think that. Who knows? I mean, is $90, could that hit in the next couple of days when the price is down in the 30s? That just really goes to show how crazy it's been. But you got to give credit where credit's due. It has shown a bit of a bounce, which is what makes this level, in my opinion, very, very interesting and important moving forward. Right down there at $26.50. And that level is important. And I'm not saying that this will occur, but if the price comes down here and breaks down through it, now all of a sudden you have the price having gone right back to where it was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine strength are not going to go back to where they were. But also, to be fair, nothing can go straight up. So maybe the price comes down here, behaves like this, and then starts to turn itself back upwards. What would you have in this situation? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have those lows down there. And if you envision each one of those as stair steps, well, you still do have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what a truly strong move is going to do. Not going to go straight up. Nothing goes straight up. But it's at least going to show signs of progress. And the quote-unquote sign of progress in this situation, right down there at $26.50. If the bounce does continue on up, then the key area of resistance, at least in my mind, is going to be right up there at the $45 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But yeah, definitely crazy. Let's see if the price can start to chip away some higher bases. Next one, SCHW, Schwab, same general idea, absolutely beaten down. I'm not going to repeat myself. And also the same general idea in terms of, let's see if the price can show some signs of progress. So what is a sign of progress on this one? Staying up there above $49.50. Just to reiterate very quickly, if the price comes down there, breaks through it, as you heard me say, well, that's put the price right back to where it was. Not a sign of genuine strength. But if the price can come down here, bounce around, head back up, well, now all of a sudden, in terms of, is the price showing signs of progress? Well, yeah, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there. So you would have stair steps in the upwards direction. So as far as a quote-unquote progress point, 49.50, in terms of levels of resistance, pretty well defined here. I mean, pretty crazy. I mean, multiple times. The price got right up there around that level of, what is that? 54, let's just call it 75, and was constantly rejected over and over again. So if 54.75 can be broken on Tuesday, then you got to think that, of course, no guarantees, but is it logical to think that that could create additional upside buying pressure? Absolutely. Next one, AMC, and as of right now, this level that I talked about a little while ago, still fully in play in terms of areas of resistance right there at $5.60. In fact, over the past couple of days, you can see prices come up right around that area and has struggled on several occasions. This morning didn't hit it exactly, but got generally speaking within the overall area. So keep an eye on that. But in all actuality, now before you even put too much focus on 560, you're going to have to pay attention to that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And because it's a moving average, you can see right there, it is now moved down below the red line. So technically speaking, it does actually take higher priority. They're essentially valued at the same right now, 558 and 560. But again, because that's a moving average, that line is going to continue to move itself downwards and lower itself and become more and more relevant in that regard. So keep an eye in terms of those levels of resistance. In terms of levels of support, key level right down there at $5.30 if this thing does roll back over. But as of right now, seemingly just starting to form maybe a sideways channel here with those couple levels, but we'll see how the craziness continues to play out on Tuesday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering here in just a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader and to manage risk, certainly get signed up for the free live webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can click on, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the training. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And really the big question here, and going back to what I commented earlier on, not a great discovery, not a special talent. All sorts of people are going to be watching and wondering what happens with it with this 50-period moving average. As of right now, it's looking like the bears are going to win out and reject the price back downwards. But there's still a chance that the price puts in a higher base because, got to be fair, there have been higher lows. So do these higher lows eventually lead to the price coming up here and pushing up through that 50-period moving average, which, like I said, you can call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, could in and of itself create a good, solid upwards buying pressure to continue on with this current bounce right now. But if this is a true level of rejection, yes, you have this level down here at 165, which ultimately created a nice bouncer for it. But I do want to add in one more area of support in the event this price does start to come back down. And that's where you got to think a lot of people in the very near term going to be watching 173.50. So keep an eye on 173.50 there. And if that level falls, then I'm not saying it's dropping all the way back down to there, but that does start to put the price back down to kind of this opener area as far as the chart is concerned. If the price can push up through that 50-period moving average, next key overarching level of resistance right up there around the $180 mark. So we'll see what happens with it. Next one here, PLTR, and we have ourselves another pattern. So maybe should have put this one in a different location so I didn't have to, so I could just go and throw it a little bit quicker. But think back to that bull pennant pattern earlier. We have this area of support right here. And then I'm not going to draw an upward trend line because what we can do for the upward trend line is just use that pink line there, the 200-period moving average, which you can see just beautifully rejected the price. I mean, the power of charts, nothing is perfect. So a quick little plug. Get signed up for that free training because here's a great example of how the price was going up, 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 and oh, what a coincidence, bounced right off that level. So like I said, that'll be the upper part of the pattern. So to just draw this all in one color, we have, whoops, black, probably a poor choice of colors. Let's try that again. We have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosion there, we have the golf hole down there. So we have ourselves a bull pennant pattern. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one here, TRKA, very, very popular stock last week, but just wanted to do a final update as I took a couple days vacation in late last week. And at this time, I would say the chart is completely broken. I mean, you look at where the price is right now and you correspond that back to where it was here. And I mean, the price is essentially back to where it started. Maybe not exactly, but I think we can all agree when a price was here, explodes all the way up there, and then in the matter of just a few days goes all the way back down to where it was. Something's just not quite right at this point in time. Now, does that mean that the price can never come back to life again? Does that mean that it's completely game over, no hope, nothing? Well, of course not. Anything can come back to life. I'm just saying that as far as, this very, very momentum, huge move is concerned, that's all been wiped away. That move is very clearly broken, and not just a question of does this thing want to come back to life, or is this thing just going to continue to bleed further and further downwards and ultimately truly go right back to where it was? But yeah, as far as the overall chart is concerned, I would now officially call this a broken chart. Next one, BOIL, which is an ETF for natural gas. And this is a level, as I've talked about, we'll call it a self-fulfilling prophecy point. A lot of people you got to think are watching this area. But that level right there, pink line there, 200 period moving average, you can see that ever since the price broke below it there, acted as resistance, acted as resistance, acted as resistance. You get the idea. But with this final 30 minutes, you can see right here, nice green candle. This green candle is getting up around that pink line. Current value of the pink line is 588. So it does not guarantee anything, but is it plausible to think that if the price can indeed get the push up through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So keep a close eye on 588 here headed into Tuesday in terms of levels of support. The key level here, and we'll call it, the progress point, which I talked about earlier. We don't want to see the price going back to where it was. So the quote unquote progress point down there right at $5.40. But in my opinion, at least, the most interesting dynamic is certainly all about that 200 period moving average and whether or not the price can get a break up through it. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Difference being it just allows you access at a lower price point, which makes it very popular. And yes, this one had a very crazy day today, very crazy past couple days. But in my mind, there are two levels that stick out like a sore thumb from a trading standpoint. And the first key level is going to be this level of support right down here at $21 and let's call it 32 cents. No guarantees, of course, but is it plausible to think that if the price comes down here and breaks down through it, that could open up the gates of momentum again and send it potentially down to this 2050 mark? In my mind, that is a very, very plausible scenario. So you got to think that there's going to be all sorts of people watching that level right there, wondering what exactly happens with it. And then on the flip side of things, as far as areas of resistance are concerned, very, very well-defined level right up here at those highs of $22.15. Again, looking through the history, you can see rejected, 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 and rejected. So if this thing can get the bounce, come up here, and then potentially get a break up through it, you got to think that in and of itself could create, even if it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, that much more upside buying pressure. But like I said, in my mind, from a trading standpoint, you got to think that there are all sorts of traders around the world watching both of these levels. 22.15 area of resistance, 21.30 key area of support. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live webinar. Like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, March 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Say what you traded today, tell me what you're watching for tomorrow. But those two things, help out the channel. And as long as I know that people are enjoying, I will be encouraged to just continue to make these videos as they do require time and effort on my part. So do those two things, and I thank you in advance. And like I said, get signed up for that free training. Take care. Have a good one.